Dude, welcome back to the Dude Sports Podcast. I'm your host, PC, and the dynamic duo is here to stay, and it's going to be staying here for a while, but don't worry, even though two of the dudes, one guy with a 10-day contract who continues to defy us as one of those guys that's just unbelievable out of control in K-Stel.
And then Howard, I think right, K-Stel, Howard's got to be like on the IL or the PUP
You
or
know what? The
something. Like
last
he's
I
got to
heard-
have some sort of injury
Dude,
designation.
Last
as well.
time I heard, he was lost in somewhere in the islands, like the Thailand kind of islands, you know? The Fiji islands. Like
Little
lost at
St.
sea. Like,
James.
we don't know.
No, it's Little St. James
Yeah,
down in.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we
that
don't
one's
know
been
what
in the
happened.
news.
Yeah, we don't know. He's like, we saw him last week for a little while. I think that was like right before his trip. We haven't heard anything since. So
Yeah.
I mean, hope up. I mean, hopefully
Caribbean
K-Stel.
islands.
Yeah, who knows, man? They get vicious down there with that weather sometimes.
They call it the Bermuda Triangle for a reason, man.
Exactly. But we do have the main man from way out west. How's your week been? How's the greater Pacific and all that jazz?
Yeah, hello folks. Glad to be back. Got the new do. Usually I'm wearing the cap, but we cut it all off, getting ready for the winter. Fun. This is a little personal note. Fun thing for me. I went to my first football coaches clinic, so try to get that down. What I got going on next year, we're gonna adjust to 8-man. So learning that game and hearing about that, I think that's gonna be a really fun experience for all involved. Also me, I mean, it's super cool getting into it because, right, we're going to talk a lot about the NFL. We got the Super Bowl coming up. And, right, as fans, we kind of get tunnel vision. We listen to Stephen A. Smith and all these guys all day, and we get, oh, okay, well, this guy's good, this guy's not, all this stuff. At the end of the day, man, I mean, you got guys out there. You got to get the ball, right? You got to get across that line. You got to tackle. You got to block. You got to deal with the referees. There's a lot of ins and outs that come with all this stuff, and just really fun stuff. And that's why the teams that are here, right? I mean, it wasn't an easy cakewalk for Mike McDonald or what's his name, Vrabel over on the other side. We got two coaches who are in new situations. We got two quarterbacks that are in new situations. One who's a young guy on a rookie deal, another guy who's been tossed aside by multiple franchises. Just real interesting stuff. It's the best game in the world. I know we'll talk about the CBB Corner 3 coming up too. Fun stuff going on in college ball. Duke's killing it. The ACC's looking really good. I saw, I think Lenardi's first one. He had 8 schools from the ACC, and he had VT as the first 4 out.
Yeah, that's eight's. We'll get into that too. 8's kind of a good number. I can see 8. Yeah, that team, they have some pretty.
And then Syracuse, I mean, I have no flipping idea, man.
I
mean, they are just
going on. I got all that going. We got ACC.
Oh my goodness.
All that talk, but
and then UFC also. But yeah, that's kind of wrapping up what we've got going on. Pretty much. Yeah. What we got?
Yeah, we might as well go segue right into that NFL talk. We are going to do our Super Bowl predictions here in a little bit. Unfortunately, we will not get K-Stel and Howard's before the Super Bowl. Obviously, that is next Sunday. We will be looking at that. We'll probably do a pod, I would assume, probably after the game. Might be a little bit late night pod. Maybe looking at the IG and stuff like that.
Yeah, probably not before the game's over.
Probably not, no. So we're going to have to do a late night one, talk about reactions, maybe get a quick one in there, and then maybe reschedule something for the rest of the week to get, that rest of that week kind of stuff in. But let's talk quickly. We were going to go Super Bowl predictions, but let's just go quickly through some of these coaching exchanges that have been happening, some of this stuff. Maybe if we're out west, kind of going to lead us through that. I know he's kind of excited about the Jets. I know Howard is kind of excited about his.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see how that goes. But, yeah, you can go ahead and take it away, talk about these new. Hey, I don't know if Bieniemy's the real solution there in Kansas City, but, I mean, hey.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, we'll talk about OCs. We'll talk about DCs. Yeah, and I get it, right? And you're a fan, and you're also a guy who's played football, and right, and you've been watching stuff. You know sports. You know that NCAA and all that stuff. But it is, right, K-Stel kind of says it too, that like you're looking at the team and you go, okay, EB, he wants to be head coach, go be head coach. No one lets him be head coach. You guys all feel righteous. Oh, ha, see, we were making you look good.
Yeah.
And then you bring in your guy, and then actually he's kind of bad, and like Bieniemy's kind of figuring it out like back over in Chicago, but you're like, oh, running back coach, like does that really mean anything? But then you decide to not bring back Nagy. There was a little bit of things there with maybe possibly to Tennessee. I don't know if Nagy's gotten a job
I
yet. There
don't think
is still
so.
some OC positions available in the NFL. But yeah, Bieniemy's back for KC. I mean, right? You got to hope that he's the right guy, right?
You
He
gotta
was the
hope.
secret sauce.
Yeah, it's just the only
Is
problem
he the
with
guy who replaces
no. I
Andy? Like,
I
is
don't
that
know.
like
That's
is
the only
that
way you can maybe get that fire going again. But I honestly think I don't know. I mean, obviously with the he has the history of it, but I feel like that the Chiefs need, and I don't know what that is, right? But I think they need some fresh ideas in there, and bringing the old guy back in that runs kind of the same stuff that we've continued to not have to have problems with, right? This last season we saw it clearly. They have offensive problems, and even though yes it was clicking with him, it's still kind of the same system that they normally run, right? It's everybody knows you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
I mean, right, and Andy's the
Too
guy in charge of
deep,
this offense,
right?
right?
Yeah,
Like,
and
who the fuck? Why does it matter who the OC is? Is what
well, I
I'm
don't
kind
know.
of
I don't
thinking.
know if Andy would try and like give away a little bit of the reins. I don't think that's going to happen. But like, I don't think that there's any fresh ideas coming into the organization. And maybe I'm wrong on that aspect because maybe it's like maybe new ideas aren't the solution. But I mean, for where things are going right now, you're going to have to do some stuff in free agency. We'll see who they get in the draft. I know we'll do draft stuff a few episodes down the road here once we get a little bit closer, once we get out of NFL season. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm not mad it's Bieniemy. I'm not like, oh, it's Bieniemy. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and that's kind of the other thing that goes on with all these coaching things, right? Yeah, maybe you're a team like the Steelers and you're like, oh, Harbaugh, whatever, whatever. And then you see him go to the Giants or something. You're like, oh, well, thank God we didn't get him. And then you pull some guy out of wherever and you're like, oh, like, right. It's not
Yeah.
only, okay, the guy that I didn't want signed somewhere else. Like, you want the guy that you want, right? You don't want to be going to B, C, option D, E, and F, right? So, here are the coaches that were hired in this newest thing, and I don't think that there's going to be any change, right? You don't want to be going really. I mean, there was that interesting thing that happened. Right? So here are the coaches that were hired in this fired, and they're going to look for a new GM replacement and have kind of his former staffers and some of the coaching staff run the draft process. The Jets a few years ago infamously fired Mike McCagnon right after the draft, so they let him draft the team and then fired him, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that is really yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and like that's the kind of shit that happens when you're a team like that. But here, let's just go. I think this is, I don't know. Alphabetical order. Arizona Cardinals, Mike LaFleur. Now, I could talk a little bit about Mike LaFleur. I don't know if you just want me to go rapid fire through all the coaches and then talk on
we
each
can
of
just
them.
do a little bit each segment, kind of one.
Okay.
And then the ones we really want to talk about, like the Jets and the Titans, or whoever you really.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because Mike LaFleur, his first OC job in the NFL, he's had a pretty good ring around. Mike LaFleur, he's the brother of the other LaFleur. I'm forgetting his first name. Up in Green Bay. Is that Mike?
Yeah.
Is it Mike and Matt?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Matt LaFleur. This one's Mike.
Matt.
Yeah. This one's Mike, and the other one's Matt. Yeah. So Mike. He played at Elmhurst. Was an Elmhurst offensive assistant after graduating. Went to St. Joseph's in Indiana. Quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. Davidson, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks, wide receivers.
I'm your host.
Browns offensive intern in 2014. That would have been the year with Shanahan. Falcons offensive assistant. That was also with Shanahan. You got 49ers pass game coordinator, wide receivers coach, pass game coordinator. And he was kind of the second fiddle to Shanahan, really. And along this whole time, right, in that Falcons team, that Browns team, right before that, you had that Redskins team. All those teams, they had McVay, they had LaFleur, they had the two LaFleurs, they had Shanahan, they had McVay, and they had Shanahan Sr. Yeah. That was the and actually really Dan Campbell was also a part of that, but that was the old Redskins coaching staff. So the younger guys kind of followed the older guys who ended up taking head coaching positions, Shanahan and McVay, who have now kind of really cemented themselves right in their position. So he was that guy. And then when Saleh got the job in New York for the Jets as the DC he had to bring an offensive staff over to New York, and he took some defensive staff guys from San Francisco, and then he took the offensive staff, some of those guys from San Francisco. Mike LaFleur's first offensive coordinating job was in 2021 with the New York Jets. That was a big year for me. That was the year that we traded Sam Darnold, drafted Zach Wilson, second overall. He was there for 3 years. He was there the entirety of the Ulbrich and Saleh tenure, right? He was the OC when Ulbrich was there as well after Saleh was fired. There wasn't a whole bunch of moving around. I think he was a pretty good OC, very creative. There was a few times where he would take stuff personally. We had a wide receiver who was a little bit of a diva. His name was Elijah Moore. He's bounced around the league. I think he spent some time with Buffalo and Cleveland this year. And there was some interesting stuff that went on there with him. So after he was fired from the Jets, he spent the last couple of years with the Rams, being the offensive coordinator there. But like we were just talking about, McVay's calling the offense over in LA. So he wasn't calling plays other than with the Jets. And then Arizona hires him as their head coach this year. That came in today. And you know what? Arizona's an interesting spot, man. Like, right, they're in a really tough spot. They're probably going to. They've tried a few head coaches over the last couple of years. They look like some of the bottom feeder teams where they're just recycling guys. LaFleur is a guy that's very boom or bust, right? He can. They're also in probably the toughest division in all of football. If you're the Cardinals, if you're the Cardinals, right? Like if you go to the NFC South, you're in a tough one. But if you're the Saints, you can maybe beat all those teams. Right. If you're the Cardinals, you're pretty much fucking screwed. Yeah. Like you gotta beat the three best other teams. Legit. Yeah, you're not going to stumble into a wild card.
Oh wow, our team's 10-7 or whatever, 9-8. We're going to stumble into the playoffs. No, you got to be like 13.
Oh my gosh! And even if you go 10-7, that's like a Jet schedule away from being 13-3. Right, a Patriot schedule away from being 15-1. Like they're going to have some tough, right? I mean, even if you go defeated in conference, you're 0-6. You can go 11-6, and like fuck. Well, we beat up on the Browns and all these squads. Yeah. So it's an interesting spot. I liked LaFleur. I think LaFleur is a great offensive mind. He would try some really funky stuff. He had this one play. They called it cocaine. It's a slant to the middle of the field. And then it's basically a hook and lateral kind of play, but it's a slant and then a throw to the sideline back from where you just replaced. So he tries stuff out, and I like that, and I do think it's a fun opportunity for him. I mean, it looks like one of those kind of other signings that you see that like a guy's just throwing shit at the wall, and this is going to be a bump in the road, right? And Sam Darnold spoke really cool about this on the Dan Patrick show, and there is a little bit of overlap with these guys, being that they never got to quite mix. Which, I mean, imagine that team if Saleh was the DC, LaFleur came in, we traded back from number 2, you had Sam Darnold. Revisionist history, right? Always right, and who knows? But he's an interesting guy, and like, right, it could work or it could not. It could be a Brandon Staley, it could be a Sean McVay, and obviously they know each other, right? So I don't know if they've announced what his defensive staff is going to be, but you got to assume that he's going to take some guys from the Rams. The Rams also hired, or the 49ers hired a new DC, Raheem Morris, who was kind of the head coach of the Falcons last year. And that's next on our list. Atlanta fired Raheem Morris and brought in Kevin Stefanski, who, I mean, 45-56 playoff appearance for the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. I mean,
what do you preview? He hasn't shown he could even win.
Well, no, with the Browns, I mean, playoff appearance. Like, I'm saying that, like, this is the best the Browns have had since Belichick. Yeah. Now, like, I do agree with you that he hasn't shown enough, especially in kind of a weak AFC North over the last few years.
No, it really hasn't been anybody's really wanted to win that division.
But if there was an opportunity for him, the NFC South is probably this one, especially when you look at kind of the other head coaching kind of things that happened. So I don't really have a whole bunch on Stefanski. They did hire Tanner Engstrand as the OC, who was the OC of the Jets last year. He got fired. There was some interesting things that went on there with Aaron Glenn's staff. So I guess we can kind of talk about the Jets in between this, where so the Jets obviously hired Aaron Glenn last year, and he brought in Detroit staff. He brought in on the offensive side, and that was Ben Johnson's kind of guy. So Tanner Engstrand was the pass game coordinator under Ben Johnson in Detroit 2 years ago. And then when Glenn got the job in New York, he brought over Engstrand. Engstrand was the OC, very similar to LaFleur, very similar. Just kind of creative, offensive mind, young guy. You kind of see a lot of these guys now. Joe Brady's kind of one of these guys. You also have, who's the guy who just got fired from Miami? Mike McDaniel, who just went to the Chargers as the OC, who's going to do some fancy stuff over there. So you've got all these kind of young guys who kind of fit this mold. Engstrand is going to be a good OC. I would assume that Stefanski's going to call the plays, though. So he's going to be doing some stuff in Atlanta. Maybe there's going to be some work around there where he gets the next job, maybe somewhere else. Then you have the Ravens, who hired Jesse Minter. This is Mike McDonald, FOMO. Yeah. Mike McDonald of the Seahawks right now. Him and Jesse Minter were the two co-defensive coordinators of the Baltimore Ravens a few years ago. And then, or like assistant defensive, like the B guys in the defensive kind of tier list. And then they went their separate ways to I think McDonald DC'd the Ravens, and Minter went and DC'd the Chargers. And then McDonald got the job for the Hawks. The Ravens defense kind of did poorly this last year. They were afraid, so they let Harbaugh go. They were afraid that they were going to miss out on another great defensive candidate that was in their own building. So they bring Minter back from the Chargers and announce them as their head coach. That's kind of all I've got on Minter. I think he's a good DC, like we've been saying about these young OCs, how creative they are. That's what Minter is. And obviously, I mean, really, it's tough to hook your wagon, right, to a guy and be like, I'm Eric Bieniemy, so everything Andy Reid does, they count that as me. But Mike McDonald's doing pretty good right now. So Minter, especially in that AFC North too.
Tough division.
I guess we could kind of skip down just to talk about that AFC North, because I feel like this really goes hand in hand. Mike McCarthy going to the Steelers. This seems like a very obvious Aaron Rodgers play, does it not?
Yeah, probably. Get your old coach back there. See,
Is it even that?
I don't know.
Good. Yeah, right.
It's
I mean,
the
this
Steelers,
seems like
though. What are we talking about? The Steelers are always going to be that team. It's like
but because of their coaches.
Yeah. Well, they didn't do anything about it. They just replaced.
And this is like the most
coach. I actually don't. I think Tomlin's better than McCarthy. But I mean, you didn't do anything. You fired your coach to continually, and I get it. You want to go win Super Bowls, but the guy keeps making the playoffs, and you go and fire him.
Well, he left. It was Harbaugh who got fired.
Right, Harbaugh got fired. But still, like, you try and find a replacement, and you just get the same guy. Like, why not try and take a swing? I mean, you're old right now. You're not going to go win a Super Bowl. Get a young coach, be able to hopefully help and develop some guys. Maybe you get a quarterback in a draft or whatever when Rodgers is done, and you can maybe continue that. But, like, I mean, you're doing the same thing.
And how long is the Rodgers? Like, is McCarthy? And McCarthy's not a young guy either. Like, is he going to be a coach for 20 years, like how all the other Steelers coaches have been?
He'll be a transition somewhere. Maybe they can try and catch, like, I don't know, maybe like somebody really good OC, like a Ben Johnson or a McDonald or something like that, where you can kind of catch some fire maybe next year. Maybe this is just like a mentor type situation. I don't really know, but it's very interesting for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get back to the alphabetical. Buffalo Bills fired Sean McDermott after another disappointing playoff exit, and now you have Joe Brady, who was he's been in talks for head coaches almost every cycle. He's kind of been like that enemy, where it's like, when is he going to get the call? When is he going to get the call? Yeah. And it is kind of interesting that you have a team that underperforms, and they're good, but they're not that good, and then you just promote within the system instead of going outside the system, switching the system, right? So I don't know how much change is going to happen there. Moving on down, we got Todd Monken, who's the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns. This is another kind of interesting one. He sits on the offensive side of the ball. He was the coordinator of the Ravens for the last few years. Before that, he was at Georgia working under Kirby Smart. And then before that, he was with the Browns as the OC. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, wide receiver coach OC, was a head coach at Southern Miss. Jacksonville, wide receivers coach, LSU, pass game coordinator. Been around for a while, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he played quarterback at Knox in Illinois. Grand Valley State was his first coaching job in 1989. So this guy's really been around. His NCAA head coaching record's 13-26. That's not all that good, but he has some experience.
Yeah.
Cleveland's kind of a team that you're going to need, especially if Shador's going to be there. You're going to need like
Pro
a guy
Bowler,
who
by the
can
way.
kind of sit there. Pro Bowl quarterback Shador Sanders, right? And I think Joe Flacco's also
Yeah,
a
he
Pro
is.
Bowler
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So they had 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks in Cleveland this year. Whoever had that super bet fucking
Yeah,
won
man, you won a
a
lot of money on
bajillion.
that. Yeah, 2 Cleveland Browns. We got Garrett in there too, so I guess you got 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 3.
But 2 Brown quarterbacks.
Yeah, quarterbacks. Anyways.
But Monken, he's going to be a veteran in the room. Now, something interesting happened where Jim Schwartz was also a finalist for their head coach. He was their DC last year, and he got passed over to get Monken, and then he kind of had a falling out, so I don't think that they're going to retain him as the DC, even though that was kind of a part of Monken's plan, was to retain him. So interesting stuff there. Okay, now let's kind of skip around a little bit, because that one I want to talk about last. So let's talk about the Giants, John Harbaugh. Kind of the same thing as Monken, I feel like.
Yeah.
Where the Giants are just such a dumpster fire franchise.
I think they could
that he need to come in
there.
Yeah, he's going to be the general of the New York Giants football operations. Like, he knows how all that shit works.
Of the Patriots.
Right? Or how
The
Belichick kind of ran it.
Yeah, young quarterback.
He's going to come in, and this is how it goes. I'm half GM, I'm half head coach, I'm this, I'm that. I'm going to bring in my OCs. My OCs underperform. Right? Because you get in these positions with some of these younger coaches, Minter, Stefanski, Brady, Andy Reid for the most part too. But when you become such a valuable part of the play calling, you can't be the general who sits at top. Right? Like that's how I kind of imagine. In the situation I am right now, our head coach who does help call the defense, right? He sets up the practice plan. He does the schedule. He does this. He makes sure that our game plan is right and all these kind of like little things. But at the end of the day, he leaves it on his offensive staff and defensive staffs to do their things. And that's kind of like it's been a tried and true thing, but there's also been a lot of coaches who are really good at right. We're seeing it kind of right now in the Super Bowl. You got that one guy who like, Josh McDaniels, who's the OC of the Patriots. He's been there for so long. He's just going to be an OC wherever he is. He can't quite be a head coach, but that's who Vrabel is. Vrabel's not a DC. He brought in a good DC. He's going to call the defense. I'm just going to sit and I'm going to be in charge of these guys. And when you guys start underperforming, it's no fault of them and it's no fault of my own. I'm going to bring in new guys. And it's on me to kind of be that. So we'll see what they do. I mean, again, Harbaugh hasn't been.
Agents, but I mean, I think it'll be fun.
Right, he hasn't been.
Yeah.
It's not like you're bringing in Belichick.
Yeah, but I think like maybe a new, fresh start will be good too, because maybe you can get some of that. Because I mean, he's got Scadaboo, you would think, coming back, and then you've got Neighbors who's coming off a knee, but. I mean, hopefully you get somebody else in the draft. Your defense really is. You've actually spent a lot of money on your defensive line.
Yeah.
Like, so you're actually got the pieces here to really build something to, like, maybe not this year, but the following year. And then you got, and maybe Harbaugh just needs another spot, right? He just needs a new fresh set of eyes. Everybody's like, oh, you have Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, this concept, the same type of stuff. Maybe you got different pieces, allows you to pick different stuff. I know you're talking about the general thing, but still being able to be in a different atmosphere, maybe get something clicking there. Or I felt like how Vrabel was in the Patriots this year.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. The NFC East is kind of up for grabs. So we've got 3 more new head coaches left. I think I want to talk about this one. Miami Dolphins, Jeff Hafley. This kind of came out of nowhere. He's had some experience coaching. I believe he coached at Boston College. His first coaching job was in 01. NCAA, he was 22 and 26. Boston College head coach from 2020 to 2023. And then he was the defensive coordinator of the Packers for the last 2 years. Head coaching experience, like I said, this kind of came out of nowhere. It's been kind of poo-pooed online. I mean, how are you going to already tell a guy?
Anyways. You might as
Right,
well try
and there's
take a
just a bunch of
something.
weird stuff going on over there.
They're
probably
coming.
gone.
This is like you're on the fast track down here from
Yeah,
think.
some weird stuff's going to go on there.
Gonna happen. He's gonna get traded at the deadline or whatever, and you figure it out. But
yeah, and yeah, so whatever happens to Miami happens to Miami. But that's an interesting one. Jeff Halfwood. All right, Tennessee Titans. Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh has been the head coach of the Jets, so I feel like I'm in a unique position to talk about this. Honestly, I wish it wasn't the Titans because I do feel like I have stuff to say about Saleh, and I don't want it to sound like it's like a Nick Howard thing.
Right.
It's just a Robert Saleh thing, who's been a successful DC. He runs laps in the visiting stadiums before the games. He's a rah guy. He's going to call the defense, which is something he didn't do at the Jets, where he felt like a timeout red flag guy, which he was probably the worst in the NFL at that. So if he feels like he only had one role and he was bad at that, I could only imagine how he would do if he adds to his plate. But regardless, Tennessee's got a good young core. I'd like to see how the OC of Dayball, he brought in the old OC instead of what he did before. So maybe that's kind of a learning thing for him. That's what Glenn is doing. That's the rumor with Glenn, is that he's going to bring in an older DC, or he's brought a younger DC to call play, and he'll call the plays, and he'll bring in an older OC to just kind of run the offense, right? Which is kind of like a mix of what we were saying with this whole Harbaugh thing, where it's like kind of like an Andy Reid thing, where it's like, okay, I got the whole offensive side of the tree, and that's all me. But the defensive side, right, he's going to run it, right? We're going to let Spags do his thing. And that is, so Saleh's going to run the defense, take care of the defense, and he's going to let Dayball run the offense. So the obviously, I think the biggest mesh in this is the Dayball and the Cam Ward. You don't want to turn this into a Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold situation, which is something Saleh's been a part of. Saleh has given up on 2 young quarterbacks in his head coaching career, and he was only a coach for 3 years.
That's troublesome, especially there in Tennessee.
With Cam Ward, right? That's the tough thing, and I want Cam Ward to succeed.
A good year, and they're like, oh, Cam's not
Kirk Cousins.
Look who's coming in the draft. We've got Arch. We've got all these guys coming next year.
Right, Tennessee, we're here.
And then Cam Ward goes to somewhere else and becomes
San Francisco, he's a backup for a year, then he goes to the Jets and he wins the Super Bowl. It's probably going to happen.
That was the best thing for. I think that might be like in your magical dream fantasy world. I think that's like if you got to play on NFL Madden mode and got to just create whatever you wanted. That's exactly what happened.
Yes, Robert Saleh ruining the Titans so Cam Ward can become the next Super Bowl winning Jet quarterback. Yeah. That would be fantastic.
There's nobody here to back it up, so like I guess that's just
I know.
Everybody's opinion of the Dudes of Sports podcast. That is exactly 100% what we just said, and nobody can say anything different. So I mean, like he probably won't even know we even talked about this. If we say nothing about this all week, I guarantee you he says nothing about these comments. We could literally say anything we wanted, and he is not going to say anything. This guy is stranded in the ocean. What are we doing here? I don't know.
Oh. We'll see Tennessee. Okay, so the last head coaching position that was filled, and this one it is official, but it's a little interesting. Las Vegas Raiders are going to draft Fernando Mendoza and Clint Kubiak, who is this young OC of the Seattle Seahawks, who are in the Super Bowl. He is right. How much is in him? Like this is a thing that might change the line for me, honestly. Him accepting this job beforehand. But yeah, Clint Kubiak going to Vegas is gonna be fun. Yeah, with Mendoza and GT and
you've got
Bowers.
I mean, AFC West is tough. It's one of the tougher divisions in football, but you know, it's gonna be good testing times for the first season to see where you're really at against some of the top football teams in the AFC, at least for the most part this last season, except for the Chiefs. But
Yeah, and
They might
I
probably
mean
bounce
the
back. Who
Mike
knows,
McDaniel
right?
going to the Chargers. Yeah, and there's some interesting stuff going on in Denver too. I mean, right? Who knows
Yeah,
how hard Nick's is going to be out, but Peyton's doing a pretty good job over there.
yeah.
Who's yeah, so that kind of does it. The Jets, they're looking at OC options, and they hired a young DC from Miami who was actually pretty good in taking the ball away last year. So
Yeah, hopefully it'll
maybe
be a
that
positive
helps.
there.
Yeah.
Since you didn't have one last year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we recovered a
One
fumble,
for no interceptions, but
which is ridiculous. But
they're
I mean,
not fumble
yeah.
season. Yeah,
What are you gonna do with the
you
Jets?
can't do anything about it.
I
All you
hopeful.
can listen. All you can hope for is, even as like a fan, a person you want to like, just like, we like to trash out to other teams. You kind of hope they have a little bit of success. Not enough success where I have to be like, oh yeah, the Jets are good, but enough success where it's like, but like Jets also are one of those teams that if they were good, like I wouldn't be like, ah, dang, they're good. Like it's like the Bears this last year. It's like, okay,
Well,
great.
I think that just like I now there might be a thing, but I think that's like historical, right? Like the
Yeah.
Patriots, like when they won the first one, like in 2000, you think guys were like, oh, that's cool, the Patriots, right? They
And
won,
then
and
everybody
like
hates them.
then and you're like, oh
And then the
Jesus,
Kansas
now
City
everyone
Chiefs
in
is like, oh,
Boston,
cool, like the Chiefs. And then they went on and everybody's like, oh my God, I'm done with the Chiefs. So I'm
yeah.
done with Patrick Mahomes. But let's talk.
So that's all the new coaches,
Yeah.
but we'll see what all these coaches do. They're a fresh slate, right? Nothing, everything can change in just a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Um, but those are what you got.
Yeah, let's go quickly. Super Bowl predictions. I know, like, we don't have the dudes here. The rest of which will make this a lot, longer segment. We don't talk too much about it. I just kind of want to see what your prediction, what your thought process is with Super Bowl 50. I think it's hopefully going to be a good game. It's all you can hope for as a football fan is a good football game. Especially when your team's not in it. If your team's not in it, you want your team to win, obviously. But I hope it's a good football game. You got a really young quarterback. And a really good defense going up against the guy that was traded, left to the dust, and has now risen from the ashes and helping Seattle, and that strong defense as well. Two incredible defenses, two quarterbacks that have continued to prove to be very good quarterbacks. Sam has done it a little bit more than Drake has just because of last year's success in Minnesota. But the running game for both teams is very solid. I think I might give the edge a little bit to Seattle because I just like Kenneth Walker. I know they lost Charbonnet, but Kenneth Walker has been a beast. There's outside weapons on both squads. I think the Seahawks JSN is incredible. Rashid Shaheed might be the steal of the trade deadline, but don't sleep on Stephon Diggs and all those wide receivers over there as well. Both defenses, two incredible head coaches. One of them just getting his feet in the water as the first-time head coach for Seattle, and then Vrabel coming back and now being prowess in the New England Patriots. Here's what I want you to do for me. I'm going to do my predictions. Let's do winner, team, or score, and then let's do first touchdown. Who do you think is going to score the first touchdown? Let's do team and player. So I think this will be a phenomenal game. I'm really hoping it is. I hope we don't get some of those old school ones where it's just a complete blowout. But I think the defense will keep it in. It'll keep the teams in it. It's just which quarterback's going to play better, honestly. I think it's going to be coming down to the quarterback or the run game. And I just think Seattle has a better of both of those. Then I think the Patriots are a team to watch here for the next 2 or 3 years. You always kind of say, like, they need one more year. It kind of feels like they need one more piece of one more year to get over the hedge, but that's kind of how I've always said about the Patriots this year. And, man, that defense is scary. Man, I know they haven't really played anybody that well, but they're really, really good. So, I don't know. It's going to be close. I am going to take Seattle in this one. I think Seattle's going to win in the Super Bowl 50. I'm going to go low-scoring affair. Let's go 17-10 Seattle. I think it's a defensive matchup. I think both defenses show out. And I am going to give the first touchdown to the Patriots start off on top and Seattle's come back. I'm going to give it to, let's go, let's do the bold take. Rashid Shaheed touchdown. Either a return or a
Open up the game.
long touchdown toss. Just kind of keep it interesting. We'll go Rashid Shaheed. Final score 17-10 Seattle. Seattle winning Super Bowl 50. MVP,
Yes, you got Seattle covering.
Sam Darnold MVP. What is your predictions for Super Bowl 50?
Yeah, so Super Bowl 50, 60.
60-50. It's kind of close, right?
60. Super Bowl 60. Yeah, so I have it a little bit closer. I don't think Seattle's gonna cover. It opened at 3.5. It's gone down to 4. It's gone up to 4.5. I'm thinking Seattle edges it out because I gotta stick with Vegas on this, but I'm gonna go 16 or yeah, let's go 16-20 Seattle. And then first touchdown, let's go Stephon Diggs. I think that Diggs is going to get in the end zone this game. 16-20 is going to be either 2 touchdowns and a safety, or maybe you go for 2
Or a
touchdowns and
mix,
2 field
extra,
goals.
extra missed extra point.
Yeah, missed extra point. You can do some stuff there, but it's probably going to be something funny. It's going to be an ugly game. I think that's that, or right. I mean,
Yeah,
this is a good
It's
game,
gonna be an
right?
ugly game.
There's going to be some interesting stuff that goes on in this, right? There's going to be some good plays that happen for sure, but who knows, right? There's going to be some interceptions. There's going to be some fumbles, ball out, right? Some returns, special teams, special players. You got the punt game. You got the kicking game. It's at Levi's Stadium, so who knows if that fucking transformer is going to be on or
Might
whatever.
be, probably.
So yeah, good game. Like we were kind of talking pre-pod. This is a rematch of a game that we've kind of already seen in the Super Bowl, and I don't care really for either of these teams, being where I am and what I've had to deal with from Seattle fans, and obviously who I root for and what I've had to deal with from Patriots. So I think rooting for Sam, man. Sam's my guy. So good luck to both teams, I guess. Should be fun though.
Yeah.
4.5 is a good line, especially with Clint Kubiak
Yeah.
kind of being half in Vegas already.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, especially 4.5 is kind of a interesting line there. You can't really take that 3. Yeah, it's a little over 3. Yeah, very interesting. Let's flip over to the other sport that's kind of really starting to pick up. Currently, it is the CBB Corner 3 report. We are in February fever mode as March Madness is kind of inching its way towards its tournament time, when you forget work is even on and you just watch basketball and tournament and get yelled at by your boss as you're watching the Hawaii game for the first opening round of the Mountain West tournament, as you're supposed to be doing something else. But we have time to get there. We'll go through each conference and kind of talk about the major highlights of each one. Let's start off, obviously, in the Big 12. I am going to say some stuff about KU, but let's talk BYU real quick. AJ DeBonza, top 3 projected NBA draft pick with Boozer out of Duke and Darren Peterson out of Kansas. They lost twice this week to 2 really tough opponents. They had Arizona come into their building, and they lost to them. Arizona might be one of your most complete teams. There's anybody on a given night. There's 8 guys on that team that can go off for 20 points. They just look really good. They're still undefeated, one of the last only 2. Quick question, Mayman for West. Do you know who the other undefeated basketball team is in the NCAA right now?
Who's the one that you mentioned?
I've mentioned Arizona.
Nebraska just lost.
They just lost. There's 2 teams left. It is the University of Arizona and...
Is it a Power 4 school?
It is not.
Okay, so Gonzaga?
Nope. They lost to
fuck.
UConn.
Okay, probably some.
Lost,
Oh
they
yeah,
lost to
that's
Michigan
right.
by a bunch. I think it was Michigan or UConn, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think they might have lost both.
I think they did.
I know they lost to Michigan.
They lost to Michigan.
I have no idea. Are they even ranked?
They are actually currently ranked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be some bullshit team.
It is Miami, Ohio University.
Oh.
They're 21-0. Very good squad there.
Future Hall of Fame quarterback went to that school.
Oh, I don't even. There's no way I can even. Nope, you got me.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, jeez,
Miami of Ohio.
No idea that. But Miami, Ohio is the other undefeated team. Arizona looks like your favorite for the NCAA tournament right now. I know maybe West would argue that, of course. But they do have a very tough matchup coming up. Not this week, but next week. Next Monday, they do go into Fog Allen and play, where PC, your host, will be at the game. hopefully see a KU win. But BYU is still, I feel like, a Final Four. I don't know about national championship right now. They have 4 losses, but it's really good teams. They have 3 really good scorers in Rob White, Richie Saunders, and obviously AJ DeBonza, but they need somebody else to kind of step up. Kiba Keita did not look very impressive, but they also lost to Kansas. They lost to them in Fog Allen. They did come back from 22 down. KU was up huge, and they almost came back and won the game. But again, they were just a few seconds too late. This is kind of the BYU thing. Don't count them out until the fat lady sings at the end of the clock. Let's talk Kansas real quick. They do win. Okay, on a 5-game winning streak, they are now 15-5. They won in Fog Allen. You cannot deny the fact that it's in Fog Allen. They did just beat one hell of a team. And did they almost choke? They almost did. But almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. They won. W's a W, doesn't matter. Now, is there everything fixed on this basketball team? I think if Darren Peterson plays, I think it's fixed. I think if he plays 40 minutes, we've been talking about this big word, this big magical word, Kansas, throughout the entire year, and it has 2 letters, and it is I and F. That is if. If Darren Peterson plays. He did not play at all hardly in the second half. That's why I think they really gave up the lead. Darren Peterson, 18 in the first half, really shooting the lights out, playing incredible, gets the cramping again, can't play at all. Even when it gets close, they're only down 4. BYU was only down 4 with like 50 seconds. Like, you think, hey, man, we just need you on the offensive end to make a 3 one time. Like, they can't even get on the floor. So, it's not fixed, obviously. It's looking a lot better than what the catastrophe K-Stel had on our podcast 2.5 weeks ago. Now, there's still a lot to prove. Okay, they do go play Texas Tech on Saturday in Lubbock. Okay, that's a huge game. Okay, Texas Tech is coming off a loss to UCF. They've moved down in my rankings a little bit, but still have wins over BYU and Houston, which makes them a top 3 or 4 team in the Big 12. So at Lubbock, that place is going to be rocking. That'll be a real true contest on is Kansas a, the round of 32 Sweet 16 team with this team without a really good Darren Peterson, or are they a Final Four to maybe a national contender at the end of this? If they go into Lubbock and win, and then they give Arizona either a win or as much as they can handle, I will be one of the podcasts to say, watch out for this Kansas Dark Horse team. We have to get to that point. What's up?
Long time Big 12 or long time caller, first time listener. Big 12. I'm reading between the lines here. It sounds like you just put a bunch of Big 12 teams in the top 10. They all beat each other, and you go, yep, you're all top 10. They're all real good. It's like maybe they're just all kind of bad.
No, because of the body of work beforehand has shown that.
What do you mean beforehand? 2008?
No. In the non-con schedule, those teams have beat up on other teams in the ACC, in the Big Ten, and in the SEC. Those top teams.
Houston went to overtime with Syracuse.
Close only counts in horseshoes and internet. It doesn't matter. It's a win. It does not matter how you win with a basketball. You won the basketball game. Look, I think the Big 12 at the top end, it is Big 12 and Big 10 neck and neck at the top end. Okay, out of all the conference, like if you're talking high to low, it is not that way for the Big 12. Big 12's got 2 or 3, probably 2 national championship contenders. I'm not putting Kansas in that category. I'm putting Arizona and Houston in that category. KU is not proven it yet. Then you've got guys in the step below that could be known as those dark horse, but Final Four, Elite 8 kind of teams in Texas Tech. Iowa State, I guess, but again, you don't really know about Iowa State. There's just a bunch of question marks.
Iowa State's women's team, maybe.
Yeah, they don't know how to play defense. She knows how to score, but it's not know how.
I think she just cherry picks. I have not seen a single highlight of her past half court.
Yeah,
I haven't.
And then BYU, I still have in that category, even though 2 losses, 1 at Fog Allen, 1 to the best team in the nation currently, and then I've got Kansas kind of in that lingering spot. But that's it. Underneath that, there's not a lot, right? The Big Ten's pretty loaded all throughout. ACC has some good talent in that middle to lower tier. That's not cause you could put California in there with the ACC. You could put, Miami. We're talking about ACC. You get to the ACC stuff and talk. But from high to low, ACC and SEC, we don't really know what's going on in the SEC. But I feel like those top teams that are in that top 10 for the Big 12, because, I mean, we'll go over my rankings here in a little bit. I think I have I have three teams in the top 10. I have 3 teams in the Big 12 in the top 10. So, I mean, and I got Iowa State up there, and I probably actually, now looking at it, I kind of want to put them lower. I kind of want to put them at like 10 and bring Houston up to 8. But, I mean, we'll see. Texas Tech lost to UCF. UCF kind of becomes a tournament team. That was those 7-10 squads that you need to fill out the brackets. Big win. Texas Tech plays KU Saturday. Big game. That'll be kind of it for the Big 12 here. Let's go over to that ACC and talk. We'll talk quickly. Blue Devil basketball get a huge win. Kill Villanova at Cameron Indoor. Wasn't even close. Just a really great defensive
Playing games
team.
at noon is so crazy for East Coast schools. I don't understand. And 9 a.m. over here.
Yeah, it's a lot.
What the fuck?
Get up early and watch it. Duke is one of the best defensive teams in the nation. They do have some scores, but they do play really good defense. They do limit their teams to really bad shooting. Villanova only shot 30% and only shot 38% from 3 in their horrific loss. Villanova's still a tournament team. It's going to be tough for them to make it to the second weekend, I think, but they have the pieces for it, especially if Mikael Brown Jr. is healthy and playing. We'll have to wait and see. If you had to take Duke and Arizona, and we'll put Michigan in there to win the national championship or the rest of the pool, what side would you take?
Are you going to give me a line?
No, you can either pick
or is that,
to win
okay,
the national
so
championship
and
would
that's
be either
even
Arizona to win the national championship. You get 3 teams would be Arizona, Duke, and Michigan.
You threw my favorite team in that group, so yes.
Or would you take the field?
Yeah, definitely my team. Yeah, you threw my team in the
I
group,
know, but
so
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like thinking like, I mean, you're going against the pool. I mean, there's some really good teams still out there that could win.
What,
the national
Miami of Ohio?
No, not Miami of Ohio, probably, but you've got UConn that's really good, even though I think the Big East sucks. That's my own personal opinion. Nebraska's really good, been really competitive in the Big Ten. Illinois has got off 2 huge wins. Gonzaga's a really sneaky team. Houston's one of the best defensive teams in the country. Purdue can get hot. BYU.
If I could give you the Big 12 and Michigan or the field, what would you take? I'll give you all the Big 12 and then Michigan on top.
Well, yeah, but there's so many good teams in the Big Ten. I can see Illinois winning. I can see, I mean, you can see Duke winning, obviously, but I mean, if you're getting Michigan, I probably would take that if you're giving me Michigan. If you're not giving me Michigan, I don't think so. I think I'm taking the field because I really do trust Michigan.
Yeah, okay.
I think Arizona, now in my rankings, you'll see Arizona's still number 1. I still think Arizona's the best team in the nation. That's just my own personal opinion. It might be Big 12 bias or whatever, but I have them at that top spot. But Duke gets that good win. They've kind of got stuff, nothing too crazy coming up, I don't think. Everybody's kind of getting prepared for the.
No. February
is it North Carolina? No,
we play North Carolina twice, but that's at the end of the year.
Yeah.
No, we play Michigan non-con this month.
But it's at the end of the month, though. I'm kind of thinking like next week. Yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's like next month. Or not next month, at the end of the month. Let's see. You play Boston College this week, and then
21st.
You play North Carolina on Saturday, so that'll be the game at North Carolina too. So that'll be the game to watch for sure, especially at Chapel Hill. Yeah, you've got a little slew left here. I mean, Clemson's good. Syracuse, we kind of talked about can be sneaky good, has a really bad streak. Michigan, obviously, really good.
That's going to be a crazy. That's
hot.
Crazy that game's in February.
NC State's pretty good, and then you have Carolina to end the season at Cameron Indoor. I don't know. Got some good matchups left. Still some good competition. Still see Duke as a number 1 seed. Going into the NCAA tournament unless something horrific happens here. Let's talk a little bit more about the ACC since we're talking there. There's some good teams here. Miami, not Ohio, but the University of Miami in Florida, does lose to Cal 86-83. They're 6-3 on the year in the ACC, but that's really good for first-year coach Jay Lucas. Watch for Miami to be kind of one of those sneaky teams that could upset a team or two as we move forward. North Carolina, Virginia, and Clemson all win this week. Nobody takes any horrific losses. So those top kind of 4, 5, you want to add NC State after the win over Syracuse. into that conversation of being a decent seed in the NCAA tournament. Um, Syracuse lost a NC State 3-5 in the ACC. You know, we kind of covered them a little bit. Not looking like a tournament team unless they win the ACC tournament, like the NC State Wolfpack did a few years ago. It makes a huge run, but they need to win some games. They win some games bad, so we'll have to wait and see on that. We're looking forward to that Duke North Carolina game. Will tell us a lot about Duke as they go into a really hostile environment. Let's talk one of the best conferences, again, in the NCAA. I think I have it just barely a tick below the Big 12, but again, Big 12 bias. I can admit when I'm a little biased. The Big 10 had Nebraska. They were undefeated after this week. They have 2 losses. They lost to Michigan. They went to Ann Arbor and lost by 3 without their second and third leading scorers. Not a bad loss. Going to Ann Arbor, playing the game where Michigan has just been steamrolling people, and only losing by that is not a bad loss. This Illinois loss that did happen today is kind of a little ticker. They are hot. Keaton Wagler again went off for like 28 points, I believe, against Nebraska for Illinois. Illinois is obviously a really good basketball team, but Nebraska's still a top 5. I think I have some of the top 5. Basketball team. They've really proven to win games. They know how to win these really good games. They just got unlucky and then had to take another stab at home. They need to see if they can bounce back. They're kind of getting this little Vandy slide that Vanderbilt had earlier this year. Let's see if they can recover from that. I think they will. Michigan, after beat Nebraska the Friday before, they actually went to Michigan State and beat the brakes off of Michigan State and Tom Izzo. They've secured themselves as the top team in the Big Ten, at least in my opinion. It has been that way, I think, for most people's opinion in a while. Illinois is kind of sneaking up there, but Michigan's already beat them. So we will see specifically how that goes. There's a few teams there at that middle tier fighting for an NCAA tournament bid. Our boy Isaiah Howard in Iowa got a big win today over Oregon. Ben Sturts had 30 points. Shout out to him. But they're rolling. They really need to get some more wins. They had a 3-game slide. They've now won 4 in a row. They need to continue to try to win those games. Indiana kind of helps out their tournament bid after beating UCLA, who has actually been pretty good in the Big Ten, beating up on not-so-good teams. Iowa also beat them as well. We'll see how that goes for them. But yeah, there's a lot of fighting down in that middle rank trying to get into this tournament. And we'll see. I think the Big Ten right now, I think they said may get 10 bids. Which is a high amount, but we'll have to wait and see, obviously, on that. And then finally, we'll talk SEC. The SEC's got me confused this year. Last year, it was like, oh, they're the 100% the best conference in basketball. There's no question about it. They had a national champion out of there. It was really, really good. They had 2 number 1 overall seeds, or two 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. Really good. This year, it's like, are they good or are they bad? You know how we have this argument all the time where it's like, is it just bad teams beating up on bad people, or is it good teams beating up on good teams? You don't get to see that until the tournament, right? Mm-hmm. And the SEC kind of took a slump in the beginning of the non-con. That's why I think Big 12 is kind of good teams beating up on good teams, and ACC is kind of good teams beating up on good teams because they've been very successful in the non-con. SEC was not that successful in this non-conference, but one team is kind of tipping out towards, it seems like, to be the real contender there, and that is Florida, who did beat Alabama, by the way, with a professional athlete by 43 today. It's always nice to see the guys that have continued to go around the rules and regulations that are non-existent in the NCAA to continue to fail. I think that's my favorite thing. Baylor's one of the worst teams in the Big 12 this year. They've got a professional athlete on their team, so I'm just kind of glad to see that those teams aren't very good. But I don't know. It's a glob mess in the SEC. I mean, you got Vanderbilt, who was undefeated and took 2 heavy losses, but they've kind of bounced back. Arkansas was one of your teams, but they just lost to Kentucky today, so we'll have to wait. And then Tennessee has always been on my radar, but man, they keep taking some of these heavy losses. So we'll have to wait and see on the SEC. I don't have a lot of them very highly ranked, but they actually, can you tell me off the top of your head who is currently winning in the SEC? Who is the number 1 team in the SEC if we would stop today?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. Bama?
Nope, Bama would not be correct. They're 5th.
Is it still Vandy?
It's not Vandy. They're third, I think.
I wouldn't know.
It is.
I mean, because Florida's kind of
Florida's
stunk it
number
up over the
2.
last couple of days. And then, I don't think, well, Kentucky's been bad.
Kentucky's number 6, I think.
And then, who's my homeboy? Calipari.
Arkansas is number 4. It is.
I think then we're going to start talking about football schools.
Texas A&M is 7-1.
Oh, College
and the
Station.
SEC, Bucky McMillan getting it rolling over there. They're going to actually be ranked this week. But they've been winning the SEC. But that's why you don't know if the SEC is
they're like
good.
one of the only
They're not even
teams.
ranked. They're at the top of the SEC.
Yeah.
They're not even ranked. What are we talking about?
And then the next 3 teams are ranked.
They are
and then you have another 4 teams not ranked, and then Bama's ranked at 4 and 4.
I mean, it's just the SEC is just so weird this year. I don't know if there's any good teams. I could see like Florida and them making them just all of them losing in the first weekend. I literally could see it, and then be totally non-existent, kind of like how the ACC was, except Duke in last year's tournament. So I don't know.
Do you know about the why does Washington State and Oregon State play in the WCC? Like, is that just for the auto bid thing? Like they said, you have to do that.
Yeah, I think they moved. They moved, and then once the new Pac-12 reopens next year,
and Gonzaga is going to be in that.
Correct. Yes.
For basketball,
that's going to be really cool. That small team. Mark Few has really done miracles over there to bring
I might be able to see Seattle U finally make the fucking tournament.
That'd be crazy. We'll look quickly at my top 25, and then we'll get to UFC. I know we're actually doing not that bad on time. But starting at number 25, number 25, I do have North Carolina. They haven't really moved up, moved down, haven't really impressed me that much. They have a big game against Duke. And if they have somehow, a miracle there in Chapel Hill, I will be moving them up, but they are at 25. I have Texas A&M now in my rankings at 24. Rick Pitino and St. John's at 23. Miami, Ohio, still undefeated at 22. St. Louis and Robbie Avila and White Abdul-Jabbar is what they're kind of calling them out there. In STL and Old Howard country out there. They are number 21. Louisville, number 20 after the loss to Duke. Not impressing me that much. They need to do more to be able to gain more spots. Arkansas lost to Kentucky. Kentucky's not that good of a basketball team this year. So that definitely ticks them down. Clemson stays kind of at the same spot at 18. Again, not really that impressive, but not really that big of wins for them. Virginia moves to 17. Virginia had some really good wins. They were the most impressive out of that middle tier of ACC teams this week. But we'll just have to wait and see again, kind of playing with some of those lower level ACC squads and just not really being that impressive. But still good. I have Florida at 16. Best team, I think, in the SEC. They can really get hot. They've got Condon and, their guards can figure it out. It'll be really interesting there, but their guards are hit and miss for sure. At 15, I have Texas Tech after the loss to UCF. I would have them higher if they did not lose to UCF, but you have to hurt them if they lose to a team like UCF. And I guess I hurt Kansas when they lost to UCF, so I don't even want to go there. But Texas Tech moves out to 15 here. Big game again against Kansas here Saturday to really move back up those rankings. I do have Vanderbilt at 14. Just didn't move again. They played some okay teams in the SEC, got wins they needed, but no one really ahead of them really dropped too far, so they didn't move up very far. I have Iowa State at 13, again, that middle of the pack. They have 2 losses, but I just don't think I'm as high on Iowa State. I think the Dude Sports podcast might be the only ones that are this low on Iowa State. Kind of K-Stelt's words are kind of getting to me a little bit, like this is kind of the repeat we kind of see out of these guys every single year. But again, why do I listen to what K-Stelt says? That guy's an idiot. But I do have them still at 13. I still think they can make some noise and be a solid round of 16 to maybe even potentially Elite 8 team come March. At 12, I do have BYU. Now, I know BYU has 4 losses. Iowa State has 2, right? But I still think BYU is a Final Four contending basketball team. If Rob White, Richie, and AJ all play as well as I've seen them play together, that team can beat anybody. But when you have one guy off and everybody else has everybody else on, it's going to be tough for sure. But I do have them at 12. I have moved Kansas to 11. They are not in the top 10. I think they obviously need to beat Texas Tech this week to prove they are a top 10 basketball team. But I do have them just slightly out there after the big win over BYU and Fog Allen. At number... Oh, wait, why have Iowa State twice there? I don't know why I have Iowa State twice here. At 9, I've got Houston. I know why. This is why I'm putting them there. I actually need to change this up. I just realized I made a mistake. At 13, I actually had Michigan State. My bad. Michigan State was at 13 after the loss to Michigan. And then I have Purdue at 10. They had a few losses last week, but, I mean, Braden Smith's really good. Trey Kaufman-Renn's also excellent there. We'll have to wait and see with Matt Painter in that squad. Houston, I'm going to put Houston at 8. So 9's going to be Iowa State. Good basketball team, but again, I think we're lower than everybody, most people. I'm going to put Houston at 8. Only loss of the year. They've continued to look good. This was my pick to win the national championship at the very beginning of the season, if you don't recall. And they continue to move up and up. I think they're very under the radar right now. I think a lot of these other teams have had big wins, so that's why everybody's pushing them above them. But I don't think they have any real bad losses. So we'll have to wait and see on them. I think they are this is like where your national championship contending teams kind of start, I think. Is it with 8, Houston. 7, I got Illinois. Big wins over Nebraska this weekend. Keaton Wagler really coming out as a star out there for the Big Ten and for the Fighting Illini. So I have them at 7. I have Gonzaga still at 6. I still trust in Graham Ike and Braden Huff and that squad out there and Mark Few. Now we get to my top 5. I moved Nebraska down to 5. I know they lost twice this week. They did lose to Michigan and Illinois. They've proven to me already they're a good basketball team. I kept them at 5. I have UConn at 4. Sadly, I kind of wanted to put Nebraska over them, but I just couldn't quite do it. I don't think UConn, I'm putting this on record, I don't think UConn is that good of a basketball team. I think they are good, but I don't think they're really that, national championship contender. Number 2 is they're going to be in the poll. They're playing in the Big East, and the Big East sucks. It sucks. It's the worst power. It's terrible. They're going to have 3
you see
bids.
what Lenardi said? We were kind of talking about the Pac-12. Lenardi said, here, the Pac-12 just tweeted it earlier today. Lenardi said that the new Pac-12, which is going to open up next year, it'll be Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Gonzaga, Oregon State, San Diego State, Texas State, Utah State, and Washington State. Very funny that it's all the schools that end in state. I love that.
Yep.
Lenardi said that they will rival the Big East year 1 with
the Big East has just been. There's UConn, St. John's, and that's it. Everybody else is kind of stinking around. Villanova will probably make it, but yeah, no one really in the radar.
The new Pac-12 will immediately chase and perhaps surpass the Big East and NCAA tournament.
I've got Michigan at 3. Really performing excellent. Beating top teams. Doesn't have to beat everybody's breaks off, but I still have Michigan at 3. I've got Duke at number 2 and Arizona at number 1. No change there. Not changing Arizona down until they lose. Then we'll reconsider and reevaluate, but can't punish a team that continues to win. But yeah, there is that for you. We'll come back and look at some of the excellent games for next week. But let's move down to UFC 325. We had a great card. I was actually heavily engaged into this. I had a great time watching it over with my brother at the house. Shout out him. That was a good time over there. But it was an interesting card to say itself, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, it was in Australia, so we had a bunch of Australian nationals on the card. There were some interesting things that happened at the weigh-in. Aaron Tao missed weight, and that fight was canceled. Kind of an interesting thing there when he weighed in. He put his elbows down and tried to get a couple pounds there. We had Road to the UFC, which I missed. Like I said, I was at that coach's clinic this weekend, so I wasn't there for the early prelims. I was able to catch the prelims and main card. Lawrence Louis won against Sangarubo. He was the underdog in that fight, so that was a surprise. Split decision. KO by knee for Nakamura over the Australian national, Sebastian Salazar. He was a slight underdog in that fight as well. And then Dom Marfon, the slight favorite, got the win over Sang-Yuk Kim. That was the tournament championships of Road to the UFC. I believe those guys won UFC contracts by doing that. Good stuff right there to see. All right, so now we move on to the fights, and this one went interesting. So I didn't see this fight. I saw a lot of stuff online that said that this was a robbery, and then I saw I talked to my dad, and he was confused because it was a majority decision, not necessarily a split or unanimous. So what happened in this fight is Con Olfi on all three cards won the first and the third. But in the second, two judges gave it to Yiza. One judge gave a 10-8 to Yiza.
Oh, okay.
So it ended up being 28-28 on that card, and then the other two judges gave 28-29 to Olfi. So it was a draw on one card and a split decision on the other two. I don't know. It looked like both fighters did pretty good. Yiza did get a knockdown in that second round. He looked pretty good. 26-6, 13-4. These are two guys that are pushing 30, so we'll see what they do next. 145, interesting weight class. Oban Elliott lost to Jonathan Mikhailov. This was the rear naked choke. He got kind of popped early in the fight and then was able to take advantage of Oban's poor wrestling. Oban, there was a lot of beef kind of coming into this fight. Oban's kind of been this up-and-comer kind of guy, like just hanging right outside the 15. He was a slight underdog. You were getting plus money with him pre-fight. Mikhailov, it looked good by him. Like I said, he did get popped. He was bleeding pretty good. Oban's got some pop in his hands. But this is two losses in a row now for Oban. Interesting to see what they'll do with him next. Just kind of an Australian fight, open up the card, get stuff rolling. Next fight, Jacob Malkoon versus Torres Finney. So Jacob Malkoon trains with Robert Whitaker. You can kind of tell that Torres Finney fights at AKA or the Academy, which is Daniel Cormier's gym. Torres Finney only attempted one takedown. He will never win a fight that way, ever. And Jacob Malkoon can't knock anyone out, I guess. He's really good with his hands. He let his hands go throughout the fight. But when it got to finish opportunities, he just couldn't quite get it done. It was, I don't know. There was a couple submission attempts. Torres Finney had something happen with his leg, and then he missed a couple shots. I mean, there was some big ground and pound, or not ground and pound, but stand and bang going on during the fight. But really, Torres just didn't look like an 11-0 fighter. And there has been this kind of thing with him where it's like a soup can 11-0. And I don't want to go as far as to say that, because 11 wins and no losses is pretty good. But yeah, he's got to stay confident in his wrestling. He's got to stay confident in his boxing. And when you go through the fire, stay in it, right? Stay in the fight, stay in the pocket. So we'll see what Torres does next. Malkoon deserved the win, unanimous decision. He should have put him out probably in just about every round. But Torres had his moments as well. Moving on up the card, Cam Rouston got the win over Cody Brundage. Brundage was the underdog, pretty heavy actually going into this fight. It was almost 3-1. But Brundage looked good. It was a KO in the second round. But Brundage may have been winning that fight. He was winning a bunch of exchanges. He had the blonde hair going on. He had some wrestling. He looked good. He was some of the best I've ever thought of Brundage. They finally let him out of the Apex. Cam Rouston looked good, though, too. This is a middleweight fight. Cam Rouston's 31, Brundage 31, just about the same age. Rouston's a little bit bigger, reach and in height. I'd like to see what these guys do next. I think there is a little bit of a logjam at 85. Maybe Rouston can move on and fight maybe Joe Pyfer or something after that card in March. Yeah, I don't really know what you do here. And then Brundage, I don't know if he's like a guy who they cut or whatever, but he's really been struggle bus. I do think this is the best he's looked, but it sucks that it was in a losing effort. Um, Up the card, Billy Elakina, who returned to the UFC after a few years, beat Junior. Was it Junior Justin Toff on this one? Junior Taffa. Justin Taffa got cut earlier this year. Billy Elakana, his last fight was in.
Junior might be on his way out the door too.
Yeah, I believe so. November of 2025, he had a rear naked choke. When. Oh, that was just a little bit ago.
Yeah, it's not that long ago.
No, it was a couple months. Was it Taffa who was out of the ring for a while? Taffa hadn't fight since July. He lost to Tuco Tucos. Sean Shroff win, lost to Walter Walker, lost to Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, who's actually a pretty good fighter himself. Parker Porter got the win there, and then Muhammad Usman. Yeah, the Toffas, it's just a tough look for the Toffas. They've really struggled in the UFC. Elakana looked pretty good. As far as light heavyweight goes, he's kind of an interesting prospect. I like to see what they maybe do with him. But Junior, I don't know. It's just a goofy whatever. But rear naked choke from at light heavyweight's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, opening up the main card, we had Qualine Salakid, who's kind of become infamous, taking on Jamie Malarkey. Salakid, who's been this Australian at 55, super fun striker. That is where the trouble started, because he got the submission in the very first round after using his striking. So, friend of the podcast, Vladimir, the El Gladiator, he had the bet on the Sal Qaid KO, and he was right until he wasn't. He looks really good. I'll like to see what they'll do with him next. They got to move him up. Jamie Malarkey fights aren't going to do it anymore. So they got to move him up at 55. Yeah, I'm not quite sure who that would be, but they've got some good options up there, and I'd like to see what he does next, because he is very fun.
Yeah.
Up the card, opening up, sorry, that opened up the main event. So right here, we've got Talison Teixeira versus Tai Tuivasa.
I mean,
Tai looked big, Talison looked big, wrestling, getting down.
They got after it a little bit. I mean, like at the third round.
Well, they got power.
Yeah. But like neither one of them got knocked. I mean, like you could tell tired. They like last like 3 minutes. They're both like, oh my god, like is this?
Yeah, and that's what happens in heavyweight bouts.
Right. I mean, Tai Tuivasa.
Gable Stevenson is realistically about 3 wins away from a heavyweight title shot.
Yeah, probably.
He hasn't even made his UFC debut yet.
Sign him. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's Tai. We'll see what he does. He had to cut a bunch of weight to make that 265. He looks skinny. Talison's just a big guy, man. And I wish that he was just a little bit better. He's like too much of a BJJ guy. He wants to wrestle. And I get it. You do what you're comfortable. But he's so tall. He's got those angles. I wish he would unleash those hands a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Really, really peppering the body to Tuivasa. Good fight overall. All right, moving on up the card. This was the bet that I placed. I won it 3-1. Roofie by KO. He is just powerful, man.
After a small little loss, he's really bounced back, and he's looking to be kind of getting to that another contender.
Yeah, and losing to a guy like he lost to BSD.
Yeah, Goofy Clown BSD. But Goofy Clown BSD is really, or was it really Goofy Clown BSD anymore? I don't know. But
I don't know, and that's what we were talking about here at the fight, where we were like, so he was good, and then Poirier fraud checked him, and then Moicano fraud checked him, and then he's beaten everybody since.
Yeah.
And he's beaten some good fighters. So we'll talk about BSD in a second. Roofie looks really good. He didn't put on the glasses. He's like still a part of Fighting Nerds, but not really, because he's like doing his own training and all that stuff. Blatty, Tai versus Teixeira was the bathroom fight break. Yes, there was no ladies fights on the card, so yeah, that was it. PC, why don't you tell Blatty what you said in the group chat?
Yeah, this is honestly probably my greatest idea I've ever came up with in the history of existence of the Dude Sports Podcast. Opening fight of the UFC White House card. You've got Derek Lewis fighting Tai Tuivasa for the UFC contract. Knockout mode only. If you both go takedowns, then you both automatically lose. If there is a takedown, you lose. You have to sit there and you have to absolutely go ham. Does not matter. Let's open the White House card with a banger, with a nice knockout of a guy who everybody likes because of the shoey thing, and then obviously for Derek Lewis and his phenomenal post-fight interview. But just to be the first card, because nobody wants to be the first fight, right? Everybody want to be like kind of later on in the night. They want to be, I'm a champ. I should be in the later main card. You need somebody to open this card up. And these two guys, you just tell them, hey, we'll give you an extra little bonus on top if you guys just go out there and swing for the fences the entire time. Like, we just one of you two knock each other out. Like, that's all we want. Hear me out on that. That's the only thing. I know it's a crazy bold thing, but I mean,
Tuivasa, you're giving him 4 months to make weight. He's getting you a little bit longer.
We're just taking injuries off, like you said earlier.
Yeah, and that was my joke too. I kind of like the idea. I think that those are two guys who deserve to fight each other. I don't know. That's kind of a quick turnaround for a guy like Ty who hasn't fought in such a long time.
For sure. It's a tight turnaround. I'm just trying to think of because nobody wants to be like, I mean, they do want to be a part of the fight, but like, oh, I'm the first one. People are just now barely getting, like, there's nobody there yet. Like,
yeah. And I think that especially now with the Paramount, and there's some weird stuff going on where you don't get to see the walkouts and the way that they're setting up the fights are all different now. Like, some stuff is changing, right? Like, they're not going to change the rules of the fight, but the way that, like, kind of the card and the event develops. So especially the UFC at the White House on a Sunday for June, for Trump's birthday, for the 250th anniversary of America. Like, there's just so much stuff going in that. Who knows how big that card is? Is it only a 10 fight card? Is it a 20 fight card? Do they do some sort of tournament thing? Do they bring in like a boxing or a wrestling kind of thing to it? I think that there's going to be a lot of weird stuff that the UFC can do with this card. So yeah, I do like where your head's at, like throwing stuff against the wall. I'm not sure if that's the fight to make. I do
probably not, but just
Dana said that Derek Lewis is and the president.
You would
the
think
president
he
loves
would
Derek
probably
Lewis.
be in the card just because of who he is as a personality and as an American.
Yeah, but like, what if they use him as some sort of like mascot of the card or something? So like, you don't have to put the pressure on him to perform.
I guess, but I just find somebody that's also really good. That's like not really, really good, but like will give you a good fight.
You know who they should bring out there to, like, I don't know, not like announce or something, but do something? Don Fry.
Yeah, there you go.
He's a USA 250. He's the guy we should talk about.
Yeah.
No pansies and fucking fighting and all that kind of shit. Yeah, so that was Rufi Fazayev. We kind of took a back tie. So moving on up, this is the co-main event, BSD versus Dan Hooker. We talked about BSD for just a second. He did get a win. He looked pretty good. Dan Hooker,
did look good.
I mean,
Dan Hooker is what? That's my favorite word. He's a gatekeeper, and he's like, he's just old. Like,
yeah, which is kind of weird because as far as I guess he has been in the UFC for quite a while.
He's just gonna get knocked out by Rufi next.
Yeah, probably. Or they do like some sort of King Green stuff, but that's even within your gatekeeper kind of thing.
Right.
You've got like the newer gatekeepers who just got the role who can work out of it, and then you've got the guys who've been gatekeepers for so long that like they can only go down.
It's time to go.
Like, right? So
Dan Hooker, I really like you. I need to go on Paramount Plus and go deep dive into some of your greatest fights, but it's time to pack the bags, buddy.
And then you look at like the fights that he's lost, and it's like always been like he beats guys like Gamrot and Jalen Turner, but he loses to guys like Arman and fucking Islam and Michael Chandler and Poirier. But he beats a Paul Felder, beats an Ala Quinta, loses to Edson Barbosa, beats Gilbert Burns, beats Jim Miller, Mark DeKessie, loses to Yair Rodriguez. I mean,
it's just so up and down.
It's the thing with the UFC, and that's what we're saying, right? And I don't know. I'm doing my whole thing to kind of like just put ACC in a better light. But right, like even though it doesn't matter if it's a whole bunch of good teams beating up on each other, bad teams beating up on each other, whatever, who wins at the end, right, is the best team. But even within that, like, right, who said UMBC didn't have a good year? Like, that's a fucking great year for UMBC by their standards, right? Like, you could have good within that kind of bad. Right. So Dan Hooker is, like, right at that fucking level where it's like, dude, if you were just a little bit luckier, you'd be a fucking champ.
Yeah.
Like it has nothing to do almost with like
Because
whatever.
his chin is strong. Like he doesn't get knocked out
Yeah.
very often. I mean, they stopped the fight, and it still kind of looked like he was pissed, even though Herb stopped, even though it's a good stoppage at that point. But
Yeah, and that's the other thing with
and
a
people
fighter.
BSD like what is this guy like? I just see this guy being a Kai Kara France esque, like coming in with all this like, ooh, might be really cool, and it just gets his shit.
He'll just be
rocked.
ranked at
He'll
number
just get
3 forever.
smoked, and it won't be like anything. A Brian Ortega, right? Or I mean, I know we're talking about the main fight, but I mean, like, are you going to be this guy that's just going to be this lower level and never be able to push? Because he's looked good in the last few, but like I mean, he's beating up on older guys. Like he's not really. I mean, I don't know. He's always been so weird to me. I think he just beats up on okay talent, but the top level, he's just not good enough. I don't know. BSD is so interesting.
I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, the 2 losses, Moicano and Poirier.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just.
But Moicano is the one that's like, well, I mean, I know Moicano's good, right? But losing to him, like, is more of a tick on you than losing to Ilya.
Yeah.
Like, if you lose to Ilya, it's like, okay, everybody loses to Ilya. Like, but you lose to Moicano, and Moicano's good, but it's not the same level. You're not talking.
But then you beat a Roofy, then you beat a Dariush, then you beat a Hooker. So he's right there. Yeah. He's right kind of in that mix. He's just above Hooker, obviously. But is he above a Roofy, even though he beat a Roofy? I don't know, because I think Roofy was do you have the rankings on your thing?
Yeah, I can just. What
are the rankings?
I'll throw it up here. I was going to do it on my phone, so I didn't do that. But where's the lightweight? Lightweight. You've got Patty, Gamrot, still ahead of him. Dan Hooker, Patty, Max, Charles, Armin. So do you put? And here's my thought process. Do you put BSD against the loser of the BMF?
Charles Max.
Yeah. Or do you
that
give him
seems
Patty?
like that's just about that level of guy he loses to.
But he's got to beat one of those guys to get a shot at the title. Like you can't just be like you got to get one more in.
But what if they go so Roofy's at 14 and Fitzayev was at 9. You got to assume that Roofy went up to 9. Yeah, and then probably. Dan Hooker, BSD.
I could see him going to 10 because
6.
they moved Moicano up because I think Moicano is still better than Roofy.
Okay.
And you bring that guy.
I mean, but you could also go down and be like BSD Michael Chandler. Like, because as a UFC matchmaker kind of guy, you got to think that like, okay, this is the level of the guy that he loses to.
Yeah.
And we keep on like bringing him up. What if instead of like going up, what if we like right after a win, then we do a slight tick down,
right?
And then kind of see where that goes, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't write your NFL schedule where it's like, okay, we play Arizona and then Cleveland and then the Jets and then the Ravens and then the Chiefs and then the Bills and like get a harder schedule as the season goes on. You kind of gotta, right, mix in some stuff in there, right? There's some stuff to happen at lightweight, but now we've got the featherweight championship, the rematch between Lopez and Volk. Now, they gave Volk 50-45, which I didn't agree with. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, I think Diego won.
I think Lopez looked good, and this is, I mean, we talk
good,
about
it's just Volk being Volk.
Yeah, we talk about this in the championship fights, I feel like, more often than any other fight. And, like, right, the guy obviously won the round. Yeah. But you look at this, you go, God, if Lopez won half of one round and half of another round, but he got like no points for either
45 to 50 sounds like Volk dominated him from
the
front
whole time
to back, and that's not what happened in the fight.
Not even.
Like Diego gave him a run for his money, just didn't like connect as much as Volk did. And Volk
had some good submission attempts. Yeah. Like Volk, like he's like.
I was so ready for Diego to win though because I need somebody else at the top of the featherweight other than Volk. Like I love Volk, but like
he's a cockroach, dude.
Dude, it's like
he'll be around forever. He's a cockroach.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like he'll let you do enough, right? And that's the other thing that's a trap that a lot of fighters fall into. If I'm doing good, I don't have to do that much.
that's probably the next one for him. You think?
Mavzar, yeah.
I mean, he's beaten. I mean, D-Ron Murphy, 17-0.
Mm-hmm.
Could have him come fight him. Maybe just a fun fight. Sterling. But I kind of heard maybe Sterling Lopez could be kind of interesting. I don't know.
Aljo, okay, yeah.
Aljo Lopez, and then maybe Murphy Yair, and then you got Mavzar versus Alexander. Just thinking like way ahead, obviously, but like you're gonna have some of these guys. It's gonna be Gene Silva. You think probably needs a fight here against one of these guys at some point, especially how
Maybe
fired
him
he's
versus
been.
Yair.
Yeah, I could see that. It would be fun to see like a Leon Murphy get a shot at it, but I think it'll just be like a Diego Lopez just get mowed down by the conditioning of Alexander the Great. I don't know. It's really interesting. He's so old. He's 37.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
old. That's old for UFC.
And that's what I was telling you, right? Like, you asked me who's going to win right before the fight. And I'm like, dude, there's no way that you could watch that last fight and then go, Lopez learned a bunch from that, and he's going to do much better. But then you watch that last fight and you go, there's no way that Volk can do that same thing to a guy almost 10 years younger than him. And he didn't. And like, I was both on right accounts, right? But like, it was, but I'm also both doubly wrong. But that's it, like, right? Like, I did take the roofie KO. Like, that would have been, if you would have asked me a little bit earlier in the day, like, give me a bet, I would have said roofie KO because I like that at 3-1. Maybe I would have put like a Salid KO or something like that on there too, which ended up maybe like really what you should have done with Salid round 1. Just get him out of there quick, and that would have been a good payout.
Yeah, parlay almost.
But yeah, especially when it comes to those championship fights, man. Like right with the Super Bowl, you asked me on week 4 of the NFL season, hey, give me a lock. I'll say, hey, Charbonnet touchdown, or I'll give you some bullshit. But then you ask me the Super Bowl, give me a lock. It's like, fuck, I don't even know if JSN's going to have 4 catches. Because if I'm thinking about it, the Patriots, right? What could you?
Well, every time
if the Patriots
down,
allow
the
him,
opposite happens. It does not matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why I never bet on my team. I know they lose without me even betting on them, but
you
always
think,
lose when I have something involved in
it. Yeah.
Always.
But next week we do have UFC. It's a fight night. It's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
I believe it's in the Apex.
Vinicius Oliveira, it is.
The Meta Apex. Mario Bautista, Vinicius Oliveira. We got Amir Albizi versus Koijo. Jalton Almeida versus Kunaev. That should be a fun heavyweight fight. Olachechki versus Marc-Andre Barrios. Basharat, Dustin Jacoby, Alex Moreno, Urano. Saeed Nurmagomedov coming back. Cody Wang. Yakub Wilklitz. Yeah, Ryan Spann withdrew
Almeida
against Kunaev, so Almeida had to take
Amir's
his spot.
fun to watch.
Yeah, and that's flyweight. That's 125. You got a good mix on this card of some big guys, some little guys. You got a couple chick fights in here, so it should be a fun fight. Claudia Saigula, she's my wife. You get that on your screen? Who's opening up the card? The Polish.
Yeah. Here.
Oh, Claudia. But yeah, so fun fights next week. We'll see. I think it starts at 6 o'clock again. I don't think I have anything next week, so hey, I'm gatekeeping her, so no one else look. So we might do another watch along, and we'll see if you guys want to join. I might be able to do something a little bit different, so we can do it that way too.
I might actually be on for that, maybe potentially. I got to see what Jay's doing. I might go back over there and watch the event with him, but.
All right, that does it for UFC. Fun stuff. Oh, we saw the boxing too. Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. Shakur won that. Blatty actually had me write this parlay for him. It was pretty good. Like, he only missed on the so he had Salid by KO. So the first bet that it lost. And then Teixeira by KO. That was true. No, that went the distance. That's right. So that would have lost. He had Roofie money line, Benoit by submission, Diego Lopez money line, and Shakur Stevenson. money line. So that was nothing. What was I gonna say? Oh, the guy with his hairpiece. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think he flew off. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, poor guy. Yeah, that kind of does it for me in UFC.
Yeah, I think we'll take a break on this Reddit ticket thing. I gotta figure some stuff out. I wish we could bring Smart and Dumb back, but with just us two, I think we just kind of stick to the sports and come vibe with us.
Mhm.
Just talk the sports. I think that's what we're best at. We'll get the little gimmicky stuff back once the rest of the dudes kind of maybe find something in their very busy schedules on a 9:30 on a Sunday night. But whatever, sure.
Yeah.
We'll just deal with that when we get there. Yeah, you might as well say your last words to the boys, the fans, whatever you want to say. Main man for Whale West, what is your final words to the people?
Yeah, oh, jeez. Go Jets, go Mets, go Duke, go Syracuse. We just beat Notre Dame. Um, Football, Super Bowl, and then we've got all this mock draft stuff coming up. Um, Support sport, get outside. It's still pretty cold out there. The weather should be turning pretty soon. We're gonna get into baseball pretty quick, so that should be fun. Um, yeah, that's just about it. Like, donate, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment, send this to your friends, send this to your family group chat, send this to your buddies group chat, post it on Twitter, post it on Instagram, um, tag us on something. If you find PC like in the grocery store, like kick him in the back of the knee. Like just whatever we can do to grow the show, help us out with that. Appreciate all you guys. And goodbye, folks.
That is our podcast. We are live 9:30 Central, 7:30 for U.S. coasters.